I'm Jessica Hill, and this is What a Load of Shit, the podcast.
Hello, Bon Jody, and welcome to What a Load of Ship, the podcast where I, Gary Walsh, talk all things cruise and what it's like to live and work on board a cruise ship. If you do like this podcast, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and follow wherever you are listening or watching. Hello. And today I have a very, very, very special guest, someone that I worked with 13 years ago on both of our first ship contracts. She is an ex-professional dancer and now a new mammy and a franchise owner of the most amazing circus school, growing even bigger across the UK, Showtime Circus. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the wonderful, the magnificent Jessica Hill. And here she is now, Jessica Hill. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, doll?
Good, thank you for having me on here.
Thank you so much for doing this. Like, for anyone who doesn't know, me and Jess go back 13 years.
Unlucky for some, but not for us, obviously.
Not for us. Well, it's coming up 14, so we're all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you have had an amazing career. Like, growing up from the north of England is very hard to, make it in London and make it into the world. And I think that stigma of like the north-south divide is still there, but you are living proof that you can come from a working class northern town and make it big and be incredibly successful, which you've done.
Yeah, from Scam. Just little me from Scam.
That's what I always remember. I've never ever got that out of my head. And you'd be like, I'm from Scam.
Scam. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, and I think I just grew up in Scam and got to a certain point where I was like, do you know what? Actually, I want to take this more seriously. So I moved dance schools, which is hard to do, when you've grown up with the same dance teacher, to make that decision. Like, actually, I want to take this more seriously. Moved dance schools, went to A-level college because my mum was adamant I had to have a plan B. So I went to A-level college and met the most incredible dance teacher there who really inspired me even more. And I think that's what set me off. And then the girl in the year above me at that college went to Birds. And she was so lovely. She was so talented. And I was like, oh my God, I want to go there. Yeah. And also Mel C from the Spice Girls went to Birds.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I love that.
And we used to do the same competitions. So, like on the competition circuit, I'd win like the same trophies and it would say Melanie Chisholm on the trophy because you had to get your name engraved. And then I would win it like 10 years down the line or whatever. So my God. Yeah, we'd always get most promising, song and dance and tap. That was always the ones that we got. And then, so it was just, it was in my head I wanted to go to Birds. And then Andrea, the girl who was a year above me, was so talented. She went to Birds as well, so that's it. My heart was set on it. Yeah. So after being massively inspired at A-level college by Debbie, I auditioned and got into Birds.
Nice. Why do I have a vision of you at a fancy dress party as Mel C?
I mean, it's happened, yeah.
I was going to say that's
any chance I've got, I go as Mel C. Yeah,
and it's all stemmed from there.
Yeah.
I love it. So what got you into performing in the first place? Because, I mean, we can't sit and talk about you without talking about your fabulous parents.
Oh my God, I know, aren't they amazing?
Because they are the most fabulous people in the world and the most loveliest people in the world as well. Like, and you can see their love and support for you. Like that flows through social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously, I met them as well, obviously, on the ship we worked on. But like, were they the inspiration, the support and pushy parents as a kid to get you into it, or just let you?
Actually, I only went dancing because I was so fat. And I had a lot of energy, apparently. My mum says you had a lot of energy, which I think means I was annoying. She needed something to burn my energy off. She used to do Morris dancing, and she was like champion Morris dancer. I know it was a thing, and she had all the medals. But apparently one day I said to her, Mum, I don't like this. I want the sticky outy skirt. and I meant I wanted to take me
The
to
little
ballet.
tutu.
So she took me to ballet as a little fat 3-year-old to get me running around
Stop it.
and get burn some energy off. And then, as they say, it went from there. But yeah, you are so right. They are so supportive. Like, I remember I really wanted to be Dorothy in this amateur dramatic production, and I said to my dad, Dad, everyone in this group whose dads are in it always get the main part. My dad was like, I'll be in it. So my dad went and auditioned, and he became the lion, and I became Dorothy.
No way.
So
That is
then my
so
dad's
funny.
done amateur dramatics ever since. So he's
Oh
like always in
wow.
murder mysteries or pantomimes. He's the day. So yeah, I got him into theatre as well, and then
Wow.
they definitely supported me. Like no end supported me. Uh, Obviously travelled around the world following me, which I think is a perk, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
when your daughter's like, right, I'm going to pay for your cruise ship for a week, holiday for
Yeah.
2 weeks. I think that's definitely a perk of putting you through dance school and dance college for your whole life.
Well, you're then repaying them all of the,
Exactly. Yeah.
for all of that as
Just their
well.
alcohol bill alone on that ship, Gary, paid for my training.
That's hilarious.
I'm joking.
Brilliant. So you went to Bird,
Yeah.
auditioned for Bird. How did you find Bird?
Do you know, I went for a few different colleges. Some of them I left and I was like, even if I get in, I wouldn't go.
Mhm.
But I absolutely loved it. The second I went, and I was like, just to the point where I'd just done, I think, the warm up. And then they were like, right, okay, get changed and get ready for ballet. And I was like, oh, I've got ballet class now. I've got knackered after just the warm up. And the teacher laughed at me and he was like, oh, like it was like really fun. And then the singing, I'm not the best singer. I wouldn't call myself a singer. I was like, oh, do I have to get up and
Well,
sing?
you went on as a singer,
I
but
did,
we'll
I
get
did.
there. We'll get there.
Oh dear, I did. And then so like they were really supportive, and then I did a comic um monologue, so a comedy
Mhm.
monologue,
Yep.
and everyone else done really serious ones, so everyone was laughing. It was just a really lovely day, and I left and I was like, Mum, I am desperate to go there.
You
And
just knew that was the place for you.
yeah, and I think my mum was at that point was a little bit like, oh, if she doesn't get full scholarship, she can't go, full stop.
Yeah.
Like it was back in the day of Dardas. So no student loan, nothing. I had to get a Dada, otherwise I couldn't go.
Yeah.
And I think my mum just was a bit like, I don't want her to be crushed here and not get in. She didn't know how good I was or if they would see my potential.
Mhm.
But luckily for me, I did get a scholarship for birds, so I was able to go. So
Nice. It's expensive. Like I auditioned for London colleges, and I come from a massive family. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
my parents were like, unless you get a scholarship, you can't go.
no,
But I was the same. When I went to my Phil Winston's audition in
yeah,
Blackpool, I was like, this is actually the place for me. This is where I
yeah,
want to be. I don't
yeah,
want to be, in anywhere else. So I think you have that feeling, don't you? It's like
yeah,
that homely feeling of just the right idea of this is where I fit.
yeah,
And you,
exactly.
like you
It
say, you
was
get
that.
that
It
from the
was that.
warm up.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
just
love that.
warm up, exactly. And it was back in the day when I think there was 27 in my year at Birds. It's massive
Wow.
now. But it was
Yeah.
back in the day when we had Studio House. We had loads of studios. You had to run up and down the streets just to get to jazz on time. Like, it was a bit ridiculous,
Yeah.
but it just felt like home. It felt like it was meant to be. And I've made still friends now, as you will be, with people from college. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was amazing for me.
And good training.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, what was your first professional job out of Bird College?
Good question. So I was in pantomimes during training.
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
yes, I was. And then
So you
I
were in
got my.
the top end of your year then, because you were allowed to do panto in second and third year.
Well, it was Brick Lane Music Hall, so it's like the oldest musical in the UK, and they
Oh,
used birds to pick the dancers. So they came in to audition us, and I was one that got it. So that was
fab.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that was that third year or second year. I think it was second year. To be honest, I don't think we were allowed to do it in third year.
Right.
And then straight out of college, I worked for what was it? First Family
First family,
Productions.
yes,
Yeah,
I
they
did
were a
one.
massive pantomime production company. So
Yeah.
that was the first job that I got out of college, and it was with Mickey Rooney, who I'd written about in my dissertation. Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
What
So it
was
was
Mickey
like,
Rooney like?
oh, he was gorgeous. He was so lovely. Like, we used to do this number where we were meant to be on ice skates. We were on roller skates, and I'd roller skate past him every day. And then about like halfway through the contract, he went, "Hey, Jess." I was like, "Yes, Mickey. You got wheels on your shoes." I was like, "You ain't got roller skates on. They're supposed to be on." But he was gorgeous, him and his wife, and yeah, he had time for us all. Like, he'd have a moan, but he would have time for us, and he would talk to us about anything we
Yeah.
had. Like, he was amazing.
Well, he's Hollywood royalty
Yeah, I know.
doing Panto. Where? Liverpool.
No, I did it in Bristol. That one was in Bristol.
Right.
Yeah, Bristol Hippodrome.
What a person to see you've worked with.
I know. I
I
know.
mean, the younger listeners and viewers of this will be like, "Who is that?"
Who's
Google
Mickey Rooney?
Google Mickey Rooney. He's like old school, like Gene Kelly era, Fred
Yeah,
Astaire.
Judy Garland.
Yeah, all
I
of
was like,
those.
I'm linking his arm, and Judy Garland has linked this arm. Oh my goodness me.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's
Yeah, another
wild.
one is do you know, Ready to Blow Your Mind? Although you might be a bit young for this. You know the Fonz?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
worked with the Fonz.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was Captain Hook, and I was Peter Pan. When in another pantomime, and I got chucked on as Peter Pan last minute. Yeah,
Henry Winkler, right?
yeah.
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 Wow.
That's another
I
one.
thought my Panto names were good. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
yeah,
Jess.
yeah. That was cool. It was good.
Wow. What an
Yeah.
experience. What do you think about Panto?
Oh, I love them, but I think that's my family loves them. Like, we've grown up with them.
Yeah.
I did my dissertation on them. I very clearly love them. And I choreographed panto. I didn't last year because obviously I had my baby, but and I choreographed panto, so absolutely just love being in the theatre. It's not Christmas without a panto, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I really miss it. Like I've been away the past couple of years at Christmas and I'm like, this year I know I'm gonna be home. And I'm like,
Yeah,
one, I really want a Panto again because I
yeah.
really miss it. Or two, I'm just happy to go watch my sister in Panto now.
Oh
Like,
yeah, of course. Pass the
just
torch on.
literally passing the torch.
Ah,
But yeah, it's great. It's a great education for like young kids to like. It's their first experience of theatre,
yeah,
So I'm a big advocate for
yeah.
getting
Me
kids
too.
to go watch Panto now. Like my goddaughter loves it. Like
Ah,
so that's like her way in now as well.
yeah.
Let's get on to ships,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We're on What a Load of Ship.
Yeah.
And what
We better talk about ships and not just have a catch up.
I know, right? So what was your first cruise ship and explain like the audition process at the time for
So
it?
my first cruise ship was on with you, so Celebrity Summit.
It was.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Ah,
I'd done Paris, I'd done Portugal, an Irish tour, pantomimes. I'd done loads. I'd done
right.
corporate events all over the world, but I'd always wanted to do a cruise ship. And at the time, me and Matt, who's my partner at the time,
Yep.
friend as you know, we were auditioning together. We were just auditioning. He was auditioning for musical theatre. He was like West End musical theatre,
Yeah.
more so than Chips, but wanted to do one with me anyway. And at the time, we auditioned for loads, and I loved the celebrity audition. Actually, the routine was wicked. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Alan and Sharon are just crackers.
Yeah.
The choreography was great, and it was a lot of jumping into splits, which I'd just done in Paris. So
Nice.
I was like, yeah. Every time I jumped into splits, they were like great.
I love it.
And then I got offered that ship, Matt got offered Starlight Express in Germany.
Yes.
So we ended up going our separate ways, but we were like, that's fine. We'll absolutely love it. And I just so happened to be around the Caribbean, so I couldn't have been more thrilled because I love the sun.
I love that. So how did you feel? Because I've never done a ship like not with a partner. So how was that like leaving each other and like making that work on that ship?
So I think we were both invincible at the time, right? So we were both like, it's okay, 4 months of being apart in a lifetime of being together is totally fine. Like, we've got this is for our future. It was hard to leave him, but also he was chuffed that he was off to go and do Starlight, which was on his bucket list. Cruise ship around the Caribbean was on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Like, we were both so supportive of each other. On the ship was hard because, again, back in the day, I think it's probably different now. I don't know, you'll be able to tell me, but the internet was like few and far between. We didn't
No,
have
we
it.
didn't have it. No.
No. So
We'd
like,
have
I
to
don't
get off
think.
the ship to find a cafe with Wi-Fi
Yeah.
to Skype.
Do they? Yeah, we used to Skype. Do they have it on the ship now?
Yeah, we have the Wi-Fi is really good now. But you have like, I
Dinosaur.
know, I always say that though now. I'm always that person. Back in my day, we used to have a scratch card to like
We
call
did.
home.
I don't think I spoke to him for like 2 weeks when we got on board because
Yeah,
I didn't know how to. I had no way of getting in touch. And then I would be like, I really love you, Matt, but I don't want to sit on the floor and Skype you. Like, I want to be out in the sun. And he would be like, just, it's fine. Just as long as you check in.
I know.
Like, we checked in when we could,
Yeah.
sent him little gifts for his like opening night. And I think we both just knew that was, I had no worries about him. He had no worries about me. We were just completely.
You were so secure in your
Yeah,
relationship
yeah, it
that
didn't
it was going to be
matter that we
fine.
checked in when we could, and we both wanted each other to enjoy like our time, what we're
Yeah,
doing, make the most of it, and
yeah,
not sit on the not sit on the floor. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it was great. It was hard. I'm not gonna lie because you
yeah,
are in a massive bubble when you're on a ship,
yeah, exactly.
and also on a ship. I think this is possibly a good thing to talk about, but again, it might have changed. You can't. It's very difficult to be a friendly female on a ship
Yes, it's
because
still exactly the
is it still
same.
the same? Because people think you're flirting and you're just being friendly.
I know. Well, Jess, we have a term for it now that I actually only came across recently. So
Okay.
obviously on our opening nights on cruise ships, all of the officers are sat front row or you can see everybody around.
Yeah.
They call that fishing now.
Fishing
Yeah.
on a cruise ship. Go and
So
fish
they
off the side. Leave
I
us
know.
alone.
So all the officers go fishing for the new girls in the cast.
Guys, it's just crazy, isn't it? That it's just a thing and it's got a name.
I know it's
And they
ridiculous, but
don't
no,
respect that you've got like a partner at home. Oh, I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. I
it's one
found
of
it quite
those.
hard because people would be like, you've got a lot of male friends. I'm not I'm just friends with them.
No, I
Like, from
know.
the cleaners to the captain, like
Yeah,
I'm just friends
exactly.
with them. And it was quite tricky to, yeah, I don't know.
No, I get it. But you are the friendliest of people anyway, right? So I can, not that I can see why it would be misinterpreted, but because of the culture
Mm,
of ships,
yeah,
you know, I can totally see why people can be like, oh, she's really friendly and quite flirty. I'm gonna go for her. No, northern people are just friendly.
yeah. You can just be friends,
Yeah,
Like, oh
exactly.
yeah.
But we had some parties on that ship.
Oh, that ship was brilliant.
There's one photo. It was the rock night. There's
Oh
one
yeah,
photo that really sticks out of me and you're like sat on my knee, like because I was only 20, so I technically wasn't allowed to drink on
oh
our ship. Do you remember?
yeah, yeah,
Like I was a baby. You were 24
yeah. I'm a little bit
at the
older. Yeah,
time,
yeah,
yeah. And you're like sat on my knee. We've both got like kiss makeup on
yeah,
our
yeah. I
faces.
remember. Yeah,
Our hairs are a state. We're clearly smashed. And I'm like, that just sums up. Like, and we're so happy. And I'm like,
yeah,
I've like got you squeezed so tight. Like, and that just like summed up that like time for
yeah,
me. Like, it was our first ship, right?
yeah.
I've done 10 now.
Gary, you need a medal, like some sort of trophy.
But no other ship has ever compared to our contract.
No, no, that was. I don't know. Was it just because it was our first ship that we hold it so dear, or was it a really special contract?
I think it was a really special contract. I think I was naive to a lot of things that happened within our cast.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think I
Yeah.
really knew a lot of the stuff that was going on between certain people. Um, but no, exactly.
Went over my head as well, I think.
But I think because we were on our first one
Yeah.
and just really living it. Like we got off all the
Oh
time.
yeah, we made the most of every single opportunity, every pour, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
And can we talk about Bermuda?
Oh my god, it's just beautiful. I would retire there happily tomorrow.
Oh, it was amazing because we basically what our contract was. We were coming out of New York,
Yeah.
a CD, and then 3 days, 2 overnights
Yeah,
in Bermuda,
in Bermuda.
a sea day back to New York, and we
Yeah.
did that for was it 3 or 4 months?
It was quite a long time that we did it, yeah. It was like we were just
Yeah,
a ferry, but I mean, you can't complain when you're ferrying in between New York and Bermuda.
I know. And we partied
Yeah. Bermuda
like
was brilliant. Snorkel Park.
it's still there.
Is it? No
Yeah.
way. Please
So
tell me it's not changed.
it looks better.
Okay, yeah,
They've
fair.
definitely like upped the ante on
Okay,
it.
yeah.
But we used to find this. We found this nightclub.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Do you remember? And
Yeah.
we used to go to Snorkel Park, which was like right by the port. And then we found this nightclub through somebody. And then we started like
Getting a
alternating up with
minibus. We got a minibus
yeah.
to the nightclub with the other ship that used to dock as well. Do you remember?
Yes, it was a Norwegian ship.
Norwegian it was, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, funny. Yeah. Remember that?
wild.
I
We
think you
walked
could just say we went to a nightclub every week on a
in
cruise.
Bermuda
What a dream.
and we got smashed. Like every week we were smashed.
Yep.
And
And then you hung over and you just jump off a waterfall to make yourself feel better. Like you just can't like
and sweating out
complain.
in a show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were very sweaty shows as well. They were good shows.
They were hard shows.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were hard shows. So let's talk about one of the shows.
Go on.
Let's talk about Sirens. You
Yeah.
alluded to be singing before, not being able to sing. But I mean, we had quite a lot of reblocks actually on that ship when we look back at the
I
start
think
of the
we did, yeah.
contract. Because
Yeah.
we lost one of our male dancers.
Yeah.
Let's give him a shout out. Austin, resident choreographer of Dirty Dancing now. Just saying.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
fair
I
play.
don't blame him for leaving to go and do that, to be fair, because
Exactly.
it's literally set him up for life.
So and like a few different things happened, I think. So and then at one point someone had to go home. Nicole had to go home. I don't think Nicole will mind me
Yes.
saying her name, will
No,
she?
no,
She'll
no.
love it. But she had to go home for personal reasons for a little bit. And you covered her singing
Singing
track
track.
in
Yeah.
Sirens.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. Please say you've got a video of that.
I have. And I watched it the other day because I was having a little deep dive through me
Yeah.
hard drives for Shan. And yeah, I was watching it the other day. So yeah. But it just seems like that's been my life, and my whole career has been like I've always been thrown on to be the lead. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even like in Paris I was thrown on, in Peter Pan I was thrown on, in Sirens I was thrown on. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all, I think
Yeah.
I've just got that personality type where people are like, do you want to do it? Yes, fine, I'll do it.
Well, I remember I think our dance captain at the time, she was like, who wants to do it? And you were like, I'll do it. I know it. Like, yeah, I'm no problem. No problem.
Yay!
I can do it.
I
And
loved
you,
it. It was brilliant. And my mum and
and
dad were on. They came on that ship.
oh wow.
So they got to watch me do it. And it was so funny because oh no, I think this is fine to say. Last time I told my dad I had a surprise in the show, I was in Paris and I was the topless showgirl in Paris. So last time I told my dad that there was a surprise in the show, I came out with no top on. And so I was like, oh, there's a surprise in this show. And dad was like, of course.
He's like,
And
he's
here we
ready.
go.
He's
Here we
ready.
go. And then up I come on the rock out of the pit, dressed as a mermaid with a
We're
microphone
your
on.
dream girls. Boy.
And he was like, oh, yeah, different type of surprise.
Oh my goodness, wonderful.
Yeah.
Like just on it, just generally looking back at that ship, like we formed a really close relationship, me and you.
Yeah.
Like you were my rock a lot of the time, and you know, and I was like your really annoying little brother a lot of the time,
No, Gary, never.
getting me out of trouble. I remember, this is one thing I remember, because I couldn't drink. I remember everybody going to the crew bar,
Yeah.
and at that time you can't do this anymore, but you could put dollar bills onto your crew card.
Yes.
So I remember just giving people like $5 in dollar bills and saying, "Can you buy me some beers?
Oh,
Bring
we'll
it
all
back to
like
the
you back,
bring it
Gary.
back to the cabin." But I remember quite a few times down in whatever people had brought me in the cabin and like meeting you all in the crew bar and just being turned around and sent straight back to my room.
Oh yeah, I think that is very important to say on ships as well, and I hope it is still the same. That everyone has each other's back. Like, if you're not allowed to drink on cruise ships, you've probably mentioned that in this podcast already.
Yeah, to a certain degree, yeah.
Yeah, and so if somebody was at the point where we were like, you know what, they're gonna get in trouble and be sent home, we would all go back to your cabin,
Yeah.
and sleep it off, or running up the gangway, we would just be like, link my arm, walk on sensibly.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone had each other's back for sure.
Yeah,
And
we
I think
did.
it's so important because it in that instance you would lose your job, like, and you were off the ship. It wasn't a warning, it was a
Yeah.
goodbye.
Yeah, you're gone.
So I think we did, even if it was somebody that you didn't particularly get on with, you would
Yeah.
still be like, actually, I'm gonna sit you down and give you a drink and make sure you're okay before you go out and
Yeah.
get sacked.
And that wasn't just within the cast. That was
Mm.
generally our friends, our circle of friends on that ship was everybody.
It was, wasn't it?
Like, and I've never, like I say, I've never experienced it since. We were out, we're talking about these nights out in Bermuda. We had the spa girls, we had
Yeah.
the shoppies, we had casino, we had like the bridge officers. I remember the captain coming to my 21st.
Yeah, the captain did. I know. And we
Like,
all gave him a little kiss on his little bald head.
yeah. But
But
it
yeah,
was just,
it was literally from the cleaners to the captain. Like, I will always say that. Like,
yeah.
little Pepe was my cleaner for my cabin. We had the same birthday, so we had a joint birthday party. And like, we were mates. Like, when
Yes.
I went back on that ship, he'd progressed up to cruise excursions.
Oh.
And he came up to me and he said, "Thank you so much. It was my friendship with you improved my English enough to get this job."
Oh,
That was really
wow.
sweet.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
Right.
yeah, literally, it was the best. It was such a good group. I'm sad to hear that every group isn't the same.
I just think I'm gonna like, since COVID, ships have changed
Okay, since COVID,
massively.
everything's changed. But
You
yeah,
know,
fair. Yeah,
like I had 5 years off ships, and then
right.
when I went back in 2020, what year are we now? 25.
5.
Like 2.5 years ago, I went back
Okay.
2.5 years ago, um, and I was like, oh, this is different. Like, not everybody's going out all the time. Not everybody's partying. Like, on my last contract, I literally probably went to crew bar about 5 times.
No.
With people. I'd go in there by myself as soon as the bar opened to
Of
get
course.
myself a
Yeah.
drink. But very, very rarely as a cast we were out together. So
Wow.
very different. Like, at work, lovely. Everybody got on really, really well. But socially, it has changed. And that's not just with performers. I mean, it might have just been that contract that I had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even on the other few that I've been on over the past couple of years, like, there's definitely it's definitely on the downhill
Yeah.
spiral of the socializing, because
Oh,
I
what a
think,
shame.
and like a lot of people suffered with their mental health, I think,
Yeah.
and drank too much and did obviously like silly things or unfortunate things. So I think that's like really affected it since
Yeah.
COVID. But let's get into the serious side. We've talked about how much fun we had and how much partying we had. And obviously you referred to Matt before. And unfortunately on our ship, you got the devastating news that Matt had passed away.
Yeah, I still remember that day like anything. And do you know what's so funny? Like, I was on the way. I was with Jim, and I buzzed my key card, and I wasn't allowed off in Canada. And I thought that it was because I'd just had some blue cheese in the officers' mess for lunch for my breakfast. And I was like, "Oh, you're not normally allowed in the officers' mess for breakfast. Like, I can't remember what the rules were, but I wasn't allowed
Yeah.
in the officers' mess. But I'd been in because I really wanted blue cheese, and I was like, "Oh God, I'm in trouble." And the cruise director came to get me, and I was like, "All this just for eating blue cheese." Like, nothing, like, it
Yeah.
didn't register that anything could be wrong in my
No.
perfect paradise life that I was
Yeah.
living. Um, so when they took me to the office, I had to call a number. Didn't recognise the number at all. But by then I was like, something's going on. So I rang my mum, and I was like, "What's going on? Is my nan okay?" Immediately.
Yeah, you go to that
Yeah.
automatically.
Mum was like, "Everyone's okay, Jess." And at the time, actually, Matt was on stag do in Vegas.
Yeah.
And she was like, "He's just missed his flight. Don't worry about it." Because he was meant to fly somewhere and then fly somewhere else and then fly to the ship. He was due on the ship in 10 days.
Yes.
And so I was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right." And then obviously rang and found out. And it just, like, it was horrendous. And I can talk about it because I've processed it quite a lot. It
Yeah.
was horrendous. But even still, from the cruise director, the assistant cruise director, were friends. They were there for me. They were going it through it with me. I didn't
Yeah.
ever feel like I was going through that by myself. You guys found out, you all outpoured all of your love. Like, I was surrounded by love on that ship.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's got a lot to do with, those relationships that you make is that's so important. And so when I went through that worst day of my life, I still look back and think I wasn't alone. I still had all of
No.
you guys. Even
Yeah.
like Sarah, I had to sign loads of documents to get off the ship, and Sarah was locking the door to make sure no one could come in because she didn't want me to have to deal with anyone that didn't understand the situation. Everyone was around. We went out on that day in Canada. I don't know if you remember. I got
I
poutine,
do. I
and we were
do.
all holding hands and skipping along. And
Well, that day I had the same thing happen.
yeah,
I went to get off the ship and I buzzed, and I went to the office and it was my granddad.
and I just
Like that.
remember us sitting
It was
crying
two.
together.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
2 days. 2 days after we found out the news of Matt,
hmm
and you were going home that day,
yeah, yeah,
but they'd allowed you off the ship before you flew,
yeah,
which
yeah.
was which was very unusual.
It was. I wasn't allowed. So when I flew, I was escorted by police. So from the ship to
Yeah.
the airport, I had a police either side. But again, I think because we were friends with everyone in the office, somehow they had managed to say, no, do you know what? She still has a visa. She's allowed off. Wink,
Yeah.
wink.
Yeah.
Somehow they made that happen for me so I could have that day off in Canada.
Yeah.
I think if I'd have been left, I think nobody would have left me on the ship. Of course they wouldn't. But I think that would have been very, very difficult.
Well, I remember we were walking to the gangway and we're like, is she going to be allowed off? Is she going to be allowed off? And then
Yeah.
I remember you going through it. I think I was one of the last. And then I buzzed and everybody turned around and be like, oh no.
No,
Like,
I know, because
what
now
was
we
going
associate
on?
that buzzing with what? Yeah,
Yeah. But again, like you said, everyone was amazing. Like cruise
yeah,
director, assistant cruise director. And they were like, do you want I remember sat in the office. I'm getting upset. I remember sat in the office and them being like, do you want anyone to come? And I was like, Jess, get Jess.
yeah,
Like, because I
yeah,
just knew that you knew how I was feeling.
yeah,
And like you say, I remember we were lying on my bed
yeah.
and we were just
Cuddling. Yeah,
hugging and both crying. And it was, in a way, so lovely.
yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
can't look back, and as much as like that, it was the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
I look back with love, like
Yeah.
for sure, because everyone was
Absolutely.
there for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. Do you want to talk a little bit about how Matt died? How
So
Matt passed away?
he had sudden adult death syndrome, and it turned out it was Brugada, which is a virus you can either be born with or you can catch.
Right.
So we still don't really know where we got it from. But we were so lucky to work with the charity Try, Cardiac Risk in the Young, who found out the diagnosis for us.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
And you remember him every year, right? With the
Yeah,
sunflowers.
we do. Yeah, sunflowers every year. If there's sunflowers somewhere, I know I'm on the right path because we gave
Yeah.
out sunflower seeds at his funeral.
So lovely. I've still got
Yeah,
mine.
you still got yours. Good.
Yeah.
They won't flower now though. You'll have to get fresh ones.
No, I just wanted to keep it.
Yeah, I know.
Keep it.
That's what everyone said actually.
So obviously then you went home and you dealt with all of that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I mean, I've experienced it differently, but celebrity cruises in that moment in time were amazing.
Yeah.
Incredibly supportive, and kudos as well. We'll have
Yeah,
to give them.
kudos are amazing. Yeah, for
We'll
sure.
have to give them the because my dad would actually he tried to get in touch with the ship and didn't know how, so he messaged Sharon on Facebook.
Oh, bless him.
And then the office got in touch with head office, and then but that's how that happened.
Yeah.
So, but obviously there's helplines and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
But you obviously then left the ship and went through all of that and everything, and then we were gone. We finished our contract, and then you crazy lady, you went back.
Yeah, so weirdly, my track on the ship that we just left got injured and had to leave. And Sharon rang me and said, Jess, I don't know where you are in your life, but how do you feel about going back on? And it was the first time I'd felt joy.
Oh.
Do you know, when she asked me that, it was the first time I'd felt anything, I think. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember? It must have been your 21st just as I left, because I sent a massive care package to everyone. Do you remember?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So when I got home.
And you sent me custard creams.
Yeah, I did. And a hat. I remember a hat. Yeah. And it was just in my head, all I had to do was see, this is what I mean about that relationship. When
Yeah.
in my darkest hour, my darkest times, all I wanted to do was go shopping to buy gifts for my friends on the ship to send.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. And so anyway, Sharon called me and said, "Do you want to go back?" And my heart was like, yes. And also Jim was still on that contract. I don't know if you
Yes, he
remember.
was.
So
Yeah.
I think it would have been very different if I hadn't have known anyone on the ship.
Yeah.
But one of our dancers stayed on, didn't he? I can't remember the logistics of why he ended
I
up
think
staying
because
on.
he'd replaced, we'd said about Austin before, didn't we, about leaving? Jim
Yes.
had replaced Austin, but he was supposed to be in the next cast, so he stayed on the rest of our contract and then did his actual
Oh,
contract.
bless him. He did 11 months on that ship. And he didn't have a birthday on the ship, so we made a fake birthday party for him.
Oh, bless.
But anyway, yeah, so that was the first time I felt joy, decided, right, I'm doing it. But I had this massive West End fundraiser. So Sharon was like, "Do you know what? I'll let you do that fundraiser, obviously." And then the day after, I flew back to the ship. And that time, I even more just had a blast, which sounds so bad to say, but I think I just forgot everything. I was in like self-imposed bliss. I just ignored what was going on at home and had the best time.
Well, it would have been a little bit of an escape and a release for you,
Yeah, for sure.
like from the reality. And it's
Yeah,
not like you were going back on and we were all there. It was
yeah.
completely new, different people.
Yeah, it was different people, but it was the same ship. It was the same ports. It was the same
Yeah.
shows, same costumes. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was the same enough to not freak me out,
Yeah.
but different enough to just be able to forget everything.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
But you, again, on that one, you made amazing friends.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah.
The same. And we'll mention her now. You got really close with Chantel on there.
Yeah, so towards the end of the contract, understandably, I suffered with my mental health.
Yeah.
I kept having panic attacks, and it was Chantel and Steph who really, really helped me through that.
Yeah.
And Chantel was just the sparkliest human.
Yeah.
So to
We've just
know
lost
that,
her.
yeah, so to know
Yeah.
that she suffered with her mental health, it's just I can't comprehend it. I'm still not, even though we said goodbye to her on Friday at her funeral, which was a party and a rave, which
I
was
watched
great.
I watched the service part on the live
Yeah,
stream. It was absolutely stunning.
yeah. But yeah, to know that she suffered with her mental health as well is something quite tricky to comprehend because she was there for me in my darkest time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think as someone who does
yeah,
suffer massively nowadays, like I think it is the person who's generally the biggest and the loudest.
yeah.
And
The
not in a way to like
sparkness.
mask it, but that's where I always describe myself now as an introverted extrovert.
That's a good way of putting it, actually. Yeah,
Like I have all of these anxieties and suffer from, all of the insecurities and all of that sort of stuff.
yeah,
Like, but I've learned to talk about it. But because of the period in life that we are now, where it is where you do talk about it. Back then, we didn't talk about it, and if we
yeah.
talked about it on the ship, you'd have been disembarked.
You would have been, and I was from P&O. Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah,
But the advice for me now to anybody, and I must say, I started. So I was telling you this before we started the
yeah,
podcast, and I actually haven't spoken about this publicly, so I'm going to use this platform. I started to develop anxiety tics. So I'd be like this,
yeah.
literally, like
Crazy.
my right shoulder going. And I didn't know why. A lot of the time, I'd wake up anxious sometimes, and when the anxiety would build up, I'd be like this,
Yeah,
and it was horrendous. And I remember lying on the floor in my cabin and literally shaking,
yeah.
shaking with this, having this panic attack. And I managed to get my phone and message the girl that I was seeing at the time, or was on off seeing. I think that did play a bit of a part in it. Like, but I messaged her and she sent the production manager and the cruise director, and they took me to the medical center. And now I wasn't disembarked; I was given therapy on
Oh
board. Yeah,
wow! What a
I
difference.
know. And honestly, I think again, people look out for you because I
Yeah,
had the right people, the right
yeah,
production manager, the right cruise director who knew I was okay, but
yeah,
I was going through this period where I was struggling a little bit, and not for any particular reason.
yeah.
Um, they allowed me to have that on board. I mean,
That's
the
amazing.
aftercare, not so great, but in the moment,
Yeah.
very, very good. And again, celebrity,
Right.
you know,
Ah.
so very, very good. But I must say, obviously, I'm working for Carnival now, and they're a big advocate for it about opening up
Good.
and talking and stuff like that.
Good.
So it has massively changed over the
Oh, I'm
years.
so pleased to hear that. Do you know what I would say as well? If we're using this platform for advice for people going onto ships,
Oh, please.
is have your coping strategies. So mine was always journaling. I love journaling, and I really got into it. And whatever your coping strategy is for your mental health, you go into a bubble on a cruise ship, and you think, "I'm all right. I don't need to journal because I'm in this amazing paradise."
Yeah.
Continue doing it. Don't use it as a, oh, I better start doing it now because I can feel myself spiraling down.
Yeah.
Use it as a continuous thing. Continue doing it even during your happiest paradise moments on your ship. Continue doing what you need to do to keep yourself grounded and leveled and your mental health well. Because then when you start having a dip or seeing a dip, you're not like grasping, clutching at straws for something to help. You've got that coping mechanism. I think I wish I knew of that on my when I went, not to that, on my third ship, I guess you would call it. I wish
Hmm.
I continued journaling and doing what I had done. So
Yeah, I
that
think
would
that's
be
great
my
advice.
advice. Yeah.
It's finding that outlet. In the last episode, I had one of my classmates, Corey, and he talked about going to the gym, and like that's what he
Yeah.
does. So
Yeah.
it's finding that outlet to keep your mind in a good place. Like I do this. This is what I love to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
like this is my outlet to I guess this is my journal, to be fair, when I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
these sorts of
fair. Yeah,
things.
yeah. And connecting with other people. Like it's a very Gary Walsh thing to do, I think, is connect with other people, chat about it, have fun, laugh.
Yeah,
That is definitely, yeah,
I
a
think that's
great
amazing.
way to do it.
Thank you. That's amazing advice. When did you decide you were done, you were retiring as a performer? When did that come, and how can you comprehend that? Because I'm at the stage now, and a lot of people that I'm currently working with and around are trying to come to terms, and not many people talk about it.
No, they don't. And do you know what? I'm so for this and helping people navigate this because it's so hard. And I think I always said it's really hard because my whole life I'd gone, I'm Jess, I'm a dancer. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm Jess, I'm a,
What am I?
what am I? Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
for me, I was on tour with Teen Turner the musical around Germany, and I literally, kid you not, was playing to a 5,000 seat arena in Berlin. Came
Mhm.
home, I was teaching baby ballet for £8 an hour, and I was like, this is not the one for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, the highs are high, but the lows were low.
Absolutely.
And I was also approaching my 30th, which, as you know, has an effect on you being like, I should have something really. Maybe I should,
I feel you. It
Yeah,
hurts me now. I'm 34 nearly now, and it hurts.
yeah. So it's just nice I just was like, I want something that's mine. I was going to start a dance school, but at the time, after ships and everything that I'd been through, I did loads of corporate work
Yeah,
and we didn't have mobile phones. So instead of sitting on my phone backstage, as people do now, I made friends with the juggler and learned how to juggle, like it's all these random skills that I learned.
amazing.
And just thought, there's loads of dance schools around here. Why not use the experience I've had of being a circus performer? Because I'd done stilts, silks, hoop, fire, hula hoop, juggling, paw, you name it, I'd done it circus
Yeah,
wise. And I think you remember on the ship, I learnt the ukulele because I
yeah,
always said, right, every contract I'm going to learn a new skill. So whether it was a ukulele, sewing, hula hooping, whatever it was, I was determined every contract I'd learn a new skill.
yeah.
And so I ended up with all of these random skills, and I thought, well, why not make use of them? And The Greatest Showman actually came out at the same time, so that helped. And I set
Oh
up the
wow.
circus school. Yeah. So then I opened it in Easter and then turned 30 in the summer. So then it was never going to be full time. It was only meant to be like birthday parties and holiday camps in between contracts.
Yeah,
But actually, it quickly turned into full time school and
it
took
grew
over my
fast.
life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And
here we are.
and now Showtime Circus is a franchise.
Yes. So it's a franchise. It's got 21 centres around the UK.
Jess, that is incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of
You
it.
should be. That's like an amazing achievement.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm
Like,
not saying to like performers, it takes a while to get to find that. And I don't think I ever would have gone, right, I'm going to stop performing and open a circus school that's going to franchise. And yeah, I
no.
wouldn't never have known that. Like, it takes a while.
So in a way, you set up this um part-time school
Yeah,
to, do something different while you were still performing. And
yeah, exactly that.
because it just grew,
Yeah,
you ended up stopping performing.
yes. Well, loads of things as well.
Yeah.
Again, you can't talk about your career without talking about your life, but like
Yeah.
loads of things as well led to that. So I opened the school in Hertfordshire. I had to leave Hertfordshire because of that horrendous relationship. I was in an abusive relationship and ran
Yeah.
away, thankfully. So I left Hertfordshire and then I couldn't go back. So I opened another one, not far away, but far enough away that I wasn't, there.
Yeah.
And got somebody else to take over that one. Then the new one that I'd opened in Milton Keynes, I was in hospital. I was in and out in hospital with endometriosis, which I've suffered really, really badly. So I started not being able to teach there either. So I'd got a manager and a teacher in to do Harpenden because I didn't want to live there anymore. Then I'd got a manager and teacher in to teach Milton Keynes because I was so poorly I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and I went on all these business courses and I was like, it does work as a franchise because I've proved it in
Yeah. Without
Hertfordshire.
even
I've
without
proved
even
it in
knowing.
yeah. So then I was like, right, this works. Go on all these business courses, learn how to franchise, learn everything you can. And I think that's helped me with a few of my friends who are struggling with what to do out of being a dancer as well. I'm like, right, I don't want to say this, but use this business course as like a way of figuring out what is next for you,
Yeah.
so you can figure out what will your profit be from that job and what are your overhead costs,
Hmm.
and then you can see on paper actually that job that I'm not really that dance job that I'm not really heart set on doing, but I'm just going to accept is actually only going to make me 250 quid or do you know whatever.
Yeah.
So mm, I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to look for something else. And I think having that head, like, start looking at a black and white, does that make me money or does it just make me happy?
Yeah.
You get to do that little change between this is my career as a performer and actually what's next.
Yeah. So it's making that stand to at least have an idea or a plan
Yeah,
in place
yeah.
to at least broaden your knowledge of other things.
Yeah, and also to sit and be like, right, well, what have I learned from my career so far? What can I draw? What are my transferable skills?
Yeah.
What can I do next?
What do you think is the most transferable skill from a performer into what I would call the muggle world?
Oh my goodness, the ability to adapt.
Yeah.
If we can reblock behind a curtain with 10 minutes to go, we can do anything. The
So
ability to
true.
adapt, for sure, and the ability to stand up and speak in front of people because we don't realise how hard that is for muggles.
Oh yeah.
Like, people
100%.
are always like, you just winged that speech you did in front of 500 parents. Yeah, whatever. Like, what? And I think I learned that more now from the kids. So the kids I teach, their parents come up to me and say, oh, if they can go on and do an aerial hoop solo, they can go on and do a presentation in front of whoever when they grow up. And like, we're so
Bro,
thankful for that. So I learn it from their point of view as well, I think. Like,
that's amazing.
yeah, what transferable skills? Definitely winging it.
Yeah. I'm still winging it. I'm still winging life. We're getting through
That,
somehow.
yeah, exactly. There's a plan
But
in there somewhere.
exactly. So you now have this amazing circus school, Showtime Circus, and you have found love again,
Yeah,
and you're a mama.
I know he's gorgeous, little pudding.
How amazing!
I know.
How different is life from 13 years ago?
Oh. Do you know what though? You couldn't write it.
No.
You couldn't write it. Like, I think if somebody had told me I'd run a circus school, would I have worked so hard in ballet at 8:30 in the morning? I'm not sure, but but I do love it. I really love what I've created. But
Yeah,
then it's like the life for me. I think that's the twists and turns that I think as a dancer you sort of sign up for a life of unpredictability, and
absolutely.
there isn't stability, and that really. I guess we should probably be taught it a little bit more, but you
Yeah,
are signing up for a crazy life of what on earth is going to happen next.
Yeah,
But for
absolutely.
me, it's my life, my love life, my home life that has been so turbulent that
Hmm.
I think I would have been that would have been the biggest surprise, I think, for me if somebody had told me that.
But do you know what the thing is about you, Jess? Is you've never let anything you've ever went through affect your personality.
Oh,
You
right.
are the same bright, beautiful, positive, outlooking person that I've ever met. And like
Ah.
we obviously we stay in touch a little bit every now and again, but like to still have you in my life, I feel very blessed and very grateful.
Oh, thanks, Gary. I do
Like,
feel the same. You are sunshine, and I think you need to remember that sometimes.
thank you. That's very kind. Anyway, right, I'm gonna do some little quick fire to finish off.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I think I know the answer to this first one. What is your favorite place you've ever visited on a ship?
Bermuda.
Bermuda, mine's the same. What's the worst place you've ever visited on a ship?
Oh, should have prepped me with these. Worst place, possibly one of the Caribbean islands. That's quite rough, but I can't remember which one it is. But I just
And a
remember,
lot of them are the same.
yeah, I remember it was a bit of a car park for like a boat park. What do you call it? Just what do you call them? Terminal?
The terminal.
A port?
All right. Okay.
Dock?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I remember it was just a port, and I got off and didn't feel safe, so I went back on.
Yeah. I still do that quite a lot today.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your favorite? What's your favorite memory of a ship? Like, if you could pick one time, one party, one night that really sticks out to you. It doesn't have to include me.
There was a night in Snorkel Park. It was actually the second contract, sorry.
Yeah, that's
But
all right.
we were all superheroes. It
Brilliant.
was brilliant. And I just remember being painted bright green with Big Tall James. We were both bright green. And
I remember seeing these photos.
it was just the best. Sham was there. It was just the best night. It was just crazy. Like,
Brilliant.
yeah, just free,
Wild.
completely free, wild. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it. What is the funniest thing a guest has ever said to you, or an interaction with a guest that sticks out the most?
Do they fly you on a helicopter onto the ship to do your show?
I love it. There's so many. I've had all of the stuff of should you be eating that, and I'm eating a burger. I'm like, yeah. Did you not just see what I just did in the show last night? I know, and there's nothing on me.
No.
You know what I mean? What's the one thing that you have to take on a cruise ship with you? That one item that you would go, do not go on a ship without this item.
I don't know if you remember, but for me it was my anchor earrings because I was convinced that the ship would sink if I didn't wear anchor earrings when we left port. But that's a ridiculous thing to say. So what would it be now? I would say my journal now.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love that. And what is the best advice you could give anyone going into their first contract on a cruise ship?
Go with open eyes, say yes to every opportunity and possibility. Um, Realize that it's a very different world and your friendship might be taken as flirting, and just know that with with knowledge, you know.
Yeah,
But you will meet some of the best people in your life on this cruise ship. You will have some of the best memories.
agreed. Jessica Hill, thank you so much.
No worries,
Yay!
thank you.